All right, welcome to Good Choices. I think it's so hard to know what the best way to spend your time is, but I think from the research I've done, the LPIC makes the most sense. The learning materials are free and public, so for me, like the biggest thing is if I fail a certification exam, I don't want to walk away with nothing. So like being able to make videos like this and put it out there and like have something to show for it even if I fail is for me just this big win-win situation that I like more. So the LPIC has this free learning materials that are pretty damn good, if I do say so. And the test is only going to be $200 for the first round. So it's cheap, it's convenient, and it's respected. So if we go technology jobs, and we go to the panel here, and then you know what? Let's go to LinkedIn to do this. I was having an issue where like it's not, like it's recommending me to be an incident responder. Like, what is that? It's based on my profile and search history. I've been searching for, network systems, like network engineer roles. So I don't know. Like this would be a good job for me here. So like I don't know why they I don't know why they want me to apply to be an incident responder, especially like an on-site role. Like that has nothing to do with. Oh, actually, that looks okay. That's why, because the job title is kind of unusual. But yeah, I mean, even so, look at these certifications. There's nothing like that on my profile. So, where something like this, this is exactly. I'm gonna apply for that right now. Yeah. So anyway, the point of that is that these I have not been. I've been searching for these roles and I haven't found any. They're recommending me weird things. But anyway, let's search for LPIC. Okay, and we've got 115 results. So honestly, not that good. Not that good at all. But again, it's not doing it right. Okay, so LPIC-1 jobs um for Indeed. Yeah, there's not that many. It's really not mentioned. Uh oh, okay, here's one. So 1,000, that's not bad. But again, these are weird results that are like not good results. And what we get here, we got 26. So maybe not the best. What happens if I search for cloud? 3,000, you know. And I'm getting cloud knowledge and experience through this. In fact, this next section is all about the cloud. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So this next section is deploying virtual machines to the cloud. That's what I did in the last video. It's just cloud is such a. All right, let's continue. So there are a multitude of IaaS, infrastructure as a service, providers available that run hypervisor systems that can deploy virtual guest images for an organization. Practically all of these providers have tools in place that allows an administrator to build, deploy, and configure custom virtual machines based on a variety of Linux distributions. Many of these companies also have systems in place that allow for the deployment and migrations of virtual machines built from within a customer's organization. When assessing a deployment of a Linux system in an IaaS environment, there are some key elements that an administrator should be cognizant of. The first element is computing instances. Many cloud providers will charge usage rates based on computing instances or how much CPU time your cloud-based infrastructure will use. Careful planning of how much processing time applications will actually require. Oh, the grammar here is all messed up. So it's what it says is careful planning of how much processing time applications will actually require will aid in keeping the costs of a cloud solution manageable. What it's meant to say is careful planning of how much processing time applications will actually require, comma, will aid in keeping the costs of a cloud solution manageable. So computing instances, many cloud providers will charge usage rates based on computing instances or how much CPU time your cloud-based infrastructure will use. So you need to plan so you don't overspend. Computing instances will also often refer to the number of virtual machines that are provisioned in a cloud environment. Again, the more instances of systems that are running at one time will also factor into how much overall CPU time an organization will be charged for. All right, the next key element when assessing a deployment of a Linux system in an IaaS environment that an administrator should be cognizant of, aside from computing instances, is block storage. Cloud providers also have various levels of block storage available for an organization to use. Some offerings are simply meant to be web-based network storage for files, and other offerings relate to external storage for a cloud provisioned virtual machine to use for hosting files. The cost for such offerings will vary based on the amount of storage used and the speed of the storage within the provider's data centers. Faster storage access typically will cost more, and conversely, data at rest, as in archival storage, is often very inexpensive. All right, networking. One of the main components of working with a cloud solutions provider is how the virtual network will be configured. Many IaaS providers will have some form of web-based utilities that can be utilized for the design and implementation of different network routes, subnetting, and firewall configurations. Some will even provide DNS solutions so that publicly accessible FQDN, fully qualified domain names, can be assigned to your internet-facing systems. There are even hybrid solutions available that can connect an existing on-premise network infrastructure to a cloud-based infrastructure through the means of a VPN, virtual private network, thus tying the two infrastructures together. I think this is what a lot of job posts mean when they say they want VPN. They're not talking about like layer 2, layer 3 ISP VPNs. They're not talking about we want you to know how to log into your computer remotely for a VPN. They're talking about on-premise network infrastructure to a cloud-based infrastructure through the means of a VPN. But it's hard to know. All right, next section, securely securely accessing guests in the cloud. The most prevalent method in use for accessing a remote virtual guest on a cloud platform is through the use of OpenSSH software. A Linux system that resides in the cloud would have the OpenSSH server running, while an administrator would use an OpenSSH client with pre-shared keys for remote access. An administrator would run the following command: SSH keygen, and follow the prompts to create a public and private SSH key. The private key remains on the administrator's local system, stored in ~//ssh, and the public key gets copied to the remote cloud system. The exact same method one would use when working with networked machines on a corporate LAN. The administrator would then run the following command: ssh-copy-id-i, then the public key, and then there. This will copy the public SSH key from the key pair just generated to the remote cloud server. The public key will be recorded in the ~/.ssh/authorized_keys file of the cloud server and set the appropriate permissions on the file. Okay, well, I'm going to do that right now because then I won't need to constantly enter my password to get into my my home lab. Oh, I need to know my public key though. Oh, come on. Don't do me like that. Let's be civilized up in here. Ah, everything is bad. Oh. Oh, did I type in something wrong? I think I did. I think what I typed in wrong is so I got the command right. It's not a valid PowerShell command. It's a valid bash command. But the key, I think, yeah, the key starts like this here, and then I got this wrong as well. Oh, that's a file. Okay. Oh yeah, I got it. And guess what I don't have to do anymore? I don't have to type in my password anymore. Oh, never mind. Yes, I do. Dang it. Okay, well, that didn't work. Ugh, that's annoying. Okay, well, fine. Fine. Oh, you know what? Maybe because it wasn't the key from Wassel. Because the key from Wassel isn't under mount. It's under where is it? It'd be under like Etsy maybe. I'm not sure where the key for Wassel would be. Oh, I think it is under Etsy. It's just a hidden folder. So I gotta do dash A. Yeah, it is. It is. So this is the key to log in via Bash through Wassel, Windows Subsystem for Linux. So if I exit out of Wassel, and then here I go SSH gposh at 192.168.1.5. Now I won't need to enter my password. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Winning feels good. I just saved myself 5 whole milliseconds of typing. Yeah, it's because the key that I put in there wasn't the Wassel key. It was the Windows PowerShell key. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's put that Wassel key in there as well, because then we can log in from here. So I need to go cd to here, and then cd to .ssh from there. So here's my present working directory. Cat out the id rsa.pub key. There we go. Oh, you know what? We don't need to feed it the key. We need to feed it the file that contains the key. So now we do ssh copy id. We can feed it the file. The file's in id rsa.pub, and then we need to feed it the information it needs to log into the server. Okay, and then we need to enter the password for one last final time. Yay! Oh my god. Okay. See, this is what I mean. Is like, this is useful. Like, this stuff is like really, really useful. This is the kind of stuff like I would try to do just by like Googling and going on Stack Overflow, and we all know this. Hopefully everyone knows the boil an egg Stack Overflow. So there's a meme on Stack Overflow, which is like, how long does it take to boil an egg? So here's the meme. How long to boil an egg? And it's marked as a duplicate. Possible duplicates are: how long should I cook a turkey? How can I tell if this egg is fresh? Oh my god. It's downvoted. And then the question is: I want a hard-boiled egg with my breakfast. How long should I put it in for? So it's marked as a duplicate by the the mods: Lazy Mod, Better Than You, Neckbeard, and marks duplicates but never posts. And this was marked okay, so this was asked on the, so it was marked on the same day a few minutes later. So the first post is: you're asking the wrong question. What is it you're trying to achieve with this breakfast? Hard boiling an egg is a known anti-pattern. This isn't even properly breakfast related. That's the top answer, answered by Better Than You. Thank you for this. It's so annoying when someone gives you a hard-boiled egg. I'm surprised the person asking this question hasn't been fired yet. The next one: boiling eggs is not recommended under any circumstances. You can fry, poach, or scramble them, or perhaps make an omelet. Trying to boil an egg is a sign of inexperience and will result in bad things happening. Arnold Schwarzenegger answered that. You can also use them as ingredients for cake. Useless. I've never used or seen an egg before, but maybe you could try poking a hole in it after a while to see if anything comes out, and boil it some more if it does. Brilliant. I tried this and it works. Hey, you know what? That would work, because if you leave it in there enough and you poke it and nothing comes out, it's probably hard boiled. Stop. Using eggs is not compatible with veganism. You cannot satisfy vegans by using eggs in any cooking at all. Even if you're not vegan, you might decide to be one later and you will regret your earlier decision. Just don't do it. I love that answer. It's absolutely hilarious. All right, and then the worst answer, downvoted for more than 4,000 times. 7 minutes if you want it slightly sticky, going up to 10 minutes for properly hard. I like 11 minutes usually. Get the water boiling, put the egg in there, turn the heat down to like a 7 or so it's a much softer boil, and then leave it in for 11 minutes. I find that works for me. But any sort of real answer like that not only gets downvoted, but hi, welcome to Stack Overflow. Please take time to read the rules before posting so that you don't make such a fool of yourself next time. We're a friendly bunch here, so it's okay that you're an inferior human being and clearly don't know what you're doing. Just be sure not to post here again, and that would be great. So this is the power of these AIs. You don't have to Google and work through stuff like this where it's just, you know, you're like you're asking, like you're just not getting what you need. Like I find the AIs are really powerful because it's pretty easy to get what you need. And yeah, so um that's a testament to this cert, because to do this, to just find out this command, how to enter it in, uh you know that's you'd have to deal with forms like that, and it would be not very straightforward. But here in this exam, in this free training material, it's all just there spelled out really clearly. Okay, so yeah, I don't need to use my password anymore. That's huge. Boom. Oh, sorry, I'm on the home lab now. If I exit the home lab, I don't need to enter my password anymore. Okay, so note, if there is only one public key in this directory, the tilde/.ssh directory, then the -i switch can be omitted, as the ssh-copy-id command will default to the public key file in the directory, typically the file ending with .pub with the .pub extension. Some cloud providers will automatically generate a key pair when a new Linux system is provisioned. The administrator will then need to download the private key for the new system from the cloud provider and store it on their local system. Note that the permissions for the SSH keys must be 0600 for a private key and 0644 for a public key. I'm pretty sure they're like that, but we can check. Let's go to .ssh on my home lab. ls-al. Oh, that's interesting. I seem to not have keys on here. Well, I wonder how it's working to SSH to it then. Anyway, ls-al on my. Okay, so here's the public key. Here's the private key. Private key has the wrong permissions. That's interesting. Yeah, private key seems to have the wrong permissions. So the permissions. Oh no, it does have the right permissions. 0600. I want. That'd be nice if there was a switch to see the permissions in the as digits. Numeric. Let's try that. Nope. Let's ask the AIs. Okay. And then I'm going to ask it, is there a switch I can use to see the permissions in number format? Dash L will oh, what? This is what I did. Uh this is like exactly what I did. That that did not. Oh, is this where's it doing that? Wrong. Yeah, no. That's kind of interesting because it seemed to do the same kind of logic that I did. Um, LNO? Nope. Okay. All right, we got to use the stat command. Hey, but now it works. So, yeah, these are set correctly. 0600 for a private key and 0644 for a public key. The leading zero is dropped. Um, oops, I need to change my posture quick. Let's see here if I can just do that without pausing or anything. Okay, yeah, I can do that without pausing. Okay, so oops. Okay, there we go. So, yep, we've got that good to go. So the next section is pre-configuring cloud systems. A useful tool that simplifies the deployments of cloud-based. Hold on a second. Okay, cloud-based virtual machine without an S. So a simple tool that simplifies the deployments of cloud-based virtual machines, I think is what they meant to say, is the cloud-init utility. This command, along with the associated configuration files and predefined virtual machine image, is a vendor-neutral method for deploying a Linux guest across a plethora of IaaS providers. Utilizing YAML ain't markup language, plain text files, an administrator can pre-configure network settings, software package selections, SSH key configuration, user account creations, local settings, along with a myriad of other options to quickly build out new systems. During a new system's initial boot up, cloud-init will read in the settings from YAML configurations and apply them. This process only needs to apply to a system's initial setup and makes deploying a fleet of new systems on a cloud provider's platform easy. The YAML file syntax used with cloud-init is called cloud-config. Here is a sample of cloud-config file. So we've got the YAML syntax here, so we don't see any markup. Tags like we see with alternatives to YAML, which would be like JSON and XML. So here we go. Here's our cloud. Here we go. Note that on the top line, there is no space between the hash symbol and the term cloud-config right here. But there are spaces here. These are comments. This looks like a different kind. Like this is not a comment. Note, Cloud-init is not just for virtual machines. The Cloud-init tool suite can also be used to pre-configure containers such as LXD Linux containers prior to deployment. So this is like the shebang. All right, next section is containers. Container technology is similar in some aspects to a virtual machine, where you get an isolated environment to easily deploy an application. Whereas with a virtual machine, an entire computer is emulated, a container uses just enough software to run an application. In this way, there is far less overhead. Containers allow for greater flexibility over that of a virtual machine. An application container can be migrated from one host to another, just as a virtual machine can be migrated from one hypervisor to another. So you don't even have to worry about having a hypervisor like, for example, KVM on Linux, VirtualBox. You can just migrate it to an operating system, a host that's running just a basic operating system. You don't need a special hypervisor to be installed, and you probably don't even need your BIOS settings to be toggled so that you can run virtual machines. So Docker is good, in other words. However, sometimes a virtual machine will need to be powered off before it could be migrated, whereas with a container, the application is always running while it is being migrated. Containers are good. Sometimes also, containers also make it easy to deploy new versions of applications in tandem with an existing version. As users close their sessions with running containers, these containers can get automatically removed from the system by the container orchestration software and replaced with the new version, thus reducing downtime. Containers are good. Note, there are numerous container technologies available for Linux, such as Docker, Kubernetes, LXD /LXC, systemd-ns spawn. So there's one just built right into the service manager. OpenShift and more. The exact implementation of a container software package, that's too bad, is beyond the scope of the LPIC-1 exam. Hopefully it's in the LPIC-2 because, this is good stuff. Containers are good. And you can imagine why. I mean, there are all the benefits of a virtual machine with none of the downsides, basically. You don't have to have a special hypervisor installed. You don't have to have special configurations in your BIOS. You don't have to use as much space on your system because you don't have to emulate an entire virtual machine. You can just emulate the parts that you need. And you can move it from system to system without having to change the state of the container of the it's still a type of the virtualized thing that you're moving. You don't have to change the state of it. You don't have to shut it down. You can move it as is. So containers are good. Okay, let's see if systemd ns spawn is on my home lab. So to do that, I have to go into my home lab first. But I don't have to feed it my password. It's not there, but it can be installed. You can also use Docker, Kubernetes. Those are the big ones. There'll be a lot of job posts, especially for Kubernetes. Let's see what we got. And again, my it's all messed up. LinkedIn, it's like showing me really weird jobs. But like, yeah, here's a bunch of, that's a lot of results, 1,000 results. Assuming that it's actually doing it right, which it probably is not. Here we go. Kubernetes, 3,000 results. So this is the one This is the big one. Use Kubernetes, 3,000 results. And then like let's see like this and OpenShift. I'm not even gonna put this in there because okay. Oh, 1,000. That's pretty good. What about for OpenShift? Wow, that's really surprising. OpenShift. So I would say use Kubernetes and then OpenShift, which is surprising. I would think Docker would be a bigger, but Docker is not doing too well. Even this is 1,000. I mean, use them all because like we got some dang good jobs up in here. Uh, that are coming up when you put this in. But the big winner is Kubernetes for sure. Um, all right, so let's see here. Uh, okay, so continuing on, containers make use of the control groups, better known as C groups, mechanism within the Linux kernel. The C group is a way to partition system resources such as memory, processor time, as well as disk and network bandwidth for an individual application. An administrator can use C groups directly to set system resource limits on an application or a group of applications that could exist within a single group. In essence, this is what container software does for the administrator, along with providing tools that ease the management and deployment of C groups. So, container software, in essence, does what does it do again? So containers make use of control groups, better known as C groups, uh, of the control groups, better known as C groups mechanism within the kernel. The C group is a way to partition system resources such as memory, processor time, as well as disk and network bandwidth for an individual application. An administrator can use C groups directly to set system resource limits on an application or a group of applications that could exist within a single uh, C group. In essence, this is what container software does for the administrator, along with providing tools that ease the management and deployment of C groups. Container software can use C groups to can directly set system resources on an application or a group of applications that could exist within a single group. Note, currently, knowledge of C groups is not necessary. Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for writing a whole section on it. For passing the LPIC-1 exam, the concept of a C group is mentioned here so that the candidate would at least have some background knowledge of how an application is segregated for the sake of system resource utilization. I appreciate that. Sometimes completely staying within the lines of the exam because I want to, like, passing the exam is great, but I want the skills. I want to learn more about this, so I'm going to ask the AI. So the statement is accurate. Containers such as Docker or Kubernetes. I'm going to go with Kubernetes because that blows up the jobs search on LinkedIn. They rely on control groups, C groups mechanism on the Linux kernel. Control groups are a feature of the kernel that enable resource isolation and management for processes. They allow the allocation of resources such as CPU, memory, disk I/O, and network bandwidth among different processes or groups of processes. Containers leverage C groups to enforce limits and constraints on the processes running inside them. This ensures that each container gets a fair share of system resources and prevents a single container from monopolizing the available resources, which could impact the performance and stability of other containers or the host system. By utilizing C groups, containers can efficient, if, efficiently allocate and control resources, making them a lightweight and scalable virtualization solution. They provide isolation between different containers and the host system while maximizing resource utilization. In summary, the use of control groups or C groups within the Linux kernel is essential for containers, as it allows for resource management, allocation, and isolation, enabling the efficient and secure operation of containerized applications. Hooray! We're on to the guided exercises. Almost done. Almost halfway there. The first question of the guided exercises is, what CPU extensions are necessary on an x86-based hardware platform that will run fully virtualized guests? Okay, that's interesting. What CPU extensions are necessary? Well, it's where you had to change the BIOS. So CPU extensions. Yeah, so the answer is the Intel VTX or the AMD -V CPU extensions. That's the answer. Yep. So VT-X for Intel CPUs, or AMD-V for AMD CPUs. All right. Next question. If your processor, that's not a guided exercise. A mission critical server installation that will require the fastest performance will likely use which type of virtualization? I'm going to go with a type 1 hypervisor on a thin provisioned, or on a thick provisioned disk. Because it does not rely on an underlying operating system. And then this is another thing. It should be fully virtualized, and then it should be it should be not thick provisioned. It should be thin positioned. It should be the opposite of that. I forget what the other thing is called. So thin provision. Oh. Why is this? Oh, here we go. So this is copy on write, thin provision, and then raw. So it should be raw. It should be on a type 1 hypervisor, and then it should be fully virtualized. I think the main thing is it's just got to be raw. The other things don't really matter as much. An operating system that makes use of okay, that's interesting. An operating system that makes use of paravirtualization, such as XEN, as the guest operating system, can make better use of hardware resources available to it through the use of software drivers designed to work with the hypervisor. Wow, okay, completely got that wrong. A mission critical server installation that will require the fastest performance will likely use what type of virtualization? So I didn't even choose a virtualization type. I got this really wrong. What I chose instead was a let's see here. Uh, so I chose a uh I chose a type of disk provisioning. I did not choose a virtualization type. So I got that completely wrong. And as far as the raw thing goes, oh yeah, that's a type of disk provisioning. Cow or raw, copy on write or raw. So that's not what the question even said. The question was not about the type of disk provisioning. The question was the type of virtualization. So we have three different types we can pick from when it comes to virtual machines. We can pick the hypervisor that spawns the virtual machines. We can pick the type of virtualization we use for the virtual machine, and then we can pick the type of let's see here. We can pick the type of disk provisioning. So we can pick the hypervisor, be it type 1, type 2, or like KVM that has both types. We can pick the virtualization type, and we can pick the disk provisioning type. So the question is about the virtualization type. So we've got three to pick from. We've got the fully virtualized, we've got the para virtualized, and we've got the hybrid virtualized. I'm going to read this whole thing again. So all instructions for the fully virtualized, all instructions that a guest operating system is expected to execute must be run within a fully virtualized operating system installation. The reason for this is that no additional software drivers are installed within the guest to translate the instructions to either simulated or real hardware. A fully virtualized guest is one where the guest or VM hardware is unaware that it is running a virtual machine instance. In order for this type of virtualization to take place on a x86 based hardware, the Intel VT-X or AMD-V CPU extensions must be enabled on the system that has the hypervisor installed. This can be done from a BIOS or UEFI firmware configuration menu. So let's read the other one that it is not. This one doesn't mention performance at all. So let's read this one and see if it mentions performance. So hybrid, para virtualization, and full virtualization can be combined to allow unmodified operating systems to receive near native I/O performance. Ooh, sounds good to me. By using para virtualized drivers on fully virtualized operating systems. The para virtualized drivers contain storage and network device drivers with enhanced disk and network I/O performance. So this has enhanced disk and network I/O performance. What was the question again? I know that this keyword is in the question. Oh no, it's not. So the question was a mission critical server installation that will require fast performance is likely to use which type of virtualization. So here's the types of virtual machines. The first type is fully virtualized. So okay, so that's one option. The next option is a hybrid. So that's probably a better option because the para-virtualized drivers contain storage and network device drivers with enhanced disk and network I/O performance. That would be good for a case where you need uh, the fastest performance possible on a mission critical server. And then the last option we have to choose from is para-virtualized, a para-virtualized virtual machine type. A para-virtualized guest, or PVM, is the one where the guest operating system is aware that it is a running virtual machine instance. These types of guests will make use of a modified kernel and special drivers known as guest drivers that will help the guest operating system utilize software and hardware resources of the hypervisor. Here we go. Here's the key. The performance of a para-virtualized guest is often better than that of a fully virtualized guest due to the advantage that these software drivers provide. So here's the answer. It knows it's a virtual machine and thus can use the advantages of being such that are offered to it by the hypervisor. Now, I do have a question for the AI, so I'm going to ask that. And my answer is, why in the ever-living F would you ever use anything but a para-virtualized guest? Okay, so the answer is, while para-virtualization offers advantages in terms of performance, there are a few scenarios where using a para-virtualized guest may not be feasible or preferred. The first is operating system limitations. Para-virtualization requires modifications to the guest operating system's kernel and the use of specialized drivers. This means that not all operating systems can be easily adapted for para-virtualization. If you need to run an operating system that lacks support for para-virtualization, or if modifying the kernel is not feasible, then a para-virtualized guest may not be an option. So if the kernel is really locked down on a secure device, then yeah, or if you need to run some sort of legacy operating system for whatever reason. For me, I'm running a legacy operating system in my home lab because that's what's compatible with GNS3. So I might not have the option for para-virtualization on mine. I'm sure I do though. All right, so the next reason why you would not just use PVM, I mean, what the heck? It's got the best performance, is because para-virtualization, or PVM, relies on a close collaboration between the guest operating system and the hypervisor. If there are compatibility issues between the guest operating system and the hypervisor, or if the hypervisor does not fully support virtualization for a specific platform, then fully virtualizing the guest may be the only viable option. Legacy systems is an answer as well. In some cases, you might be working with legacy systems or older applications that are not designed to run in a para-virtualized environment. Security considerations, kind of self-explanatory. So ultimately, the decision to use a para-virtualized guest depends on factors such as the supported operating system's compatibility, performance requirements, and security considerations. Each virtualization approach has its strengths and limitations, and choosing the most suitable type of virtualization depends on the specific use case and system requirements. All right, so that's the answer to that. The next question, two virtual machines that have been cloned from the same template and that utilize dbus are performing erratically. They both have separate host names and network configuration settings. What command would be used to determine if each of the virtual machines have different dbus machine IDs? I don't remember the exact command, but I believe I entered it. Here it is: dbus-uuidgen -git. Yep, and I got that right. All right, on to the next set of questions. These are the explorational exercises. The first question: Run the following command to see if your system already has CPU extensions enabled to run a virtual machine. Your results may vary depending on your CPU. So we can run this multiple ways. Let's run it on my home lab first. All right. Depending on the output, you may have VMX highlighted for Intel VT-X enabled CPUs, or SVM highlighted for AMD SVM enabled CPUs. I have VMX highlighted. Yep. Should you get no results, consult your BIOS or UEFI firmware instructions on how to enable virtualization for your processor. Okay, so obviously my home lab has virtualization enabled. That's how I'm running GNS. Let's see if my home gaming PC has virtualization enabled. Okay, so my home gaming PC does not have any highlighted results. So if I want to do virtualization on here, which I actually don't, so I would need to enable that. Oh, actually, never mind. I've got VMX highlighted. Okay, so I'm good. I'm good. And I think maybe you wouldn't get any results if it wasn't enabled. But anyway, I got VMX. All right, next question. If your processor supports virtualizations, seek out your distribution's documentation for running a KVM hypervisor. So install the necessary packages to run a KVM hypervisor. If you are using a graphical desktop environment, it is recommended to also install the Virt-Manager application, which is a graphical front end that can be used on a KVM installation. This will aid in virtual machine installations and management. Download a Linux distribution ISO image of your choice, and following your distribution's documentation, create a new virtual machine using this ISO. So I've already done that. I mean, with setting up my GNS lab, I kind of don't want to. You know what? Let's do it for a capture the flag, hack the box sort of thing. So CTF virtual machine. So let's get this vulnerable by design virtual machine and set it up. So the planets. Earth is an easy box, so let me find it more challenging. Okay. So yeah, here's a virtual machine. So all we'd have to do is download this, and then have it set up. But I'm not. This is a Windows machine, not a Linux machine. So, it's not going to use. It's got an OVA file. All right, I'll read the summary while that's going. This is the last question. Summary: in this lesson, we covered the conceptual basics of virtual machines and containers and how these technologies can be used with Linux. We briefly described the following commands: dbus-uuidgen, used to verify and view a system's dbus ID; ssh-keygen, used to generate a public and private SSH key for use when accessing remote cloud-based systems; ssh-copy-id, used to copy a system's public SSH key to a remote system to facilitate remote authentication, which I set up in my home lab. Last command, cloud-init, used to aid in the configuration and deployment of virtual machines and containers to a cloud environment. Okay, so this is still going. It's going to be about a minute. Everything's done. The last video will be work on the command line. Hopefully this, what is it, 30 seconds? Okay, I'm just kind of waiting for that to. Oh, let me talk about this update drink. So I posted 2 videos today, like this day when I was there was a gap. I didn't have the drink on that day, so let me just say that this drink works wonders for me. It's why I've been so consistent in posting, and it doesn't disrupt my sleep. It doesn't give me jitters or like anxiety the way it doesn't give me a crash. It's not caffeine. It's one of the chemicals of caffeine that cause the good effects of caffeine without the other 2 chemicals in caffeine that cause the bad effects. Okay, so this is going to open when it's complete. Show in folder. Still not complete. It says it's complete, doesn't it? Well, I thought it was complete. No, it's not complete. Well, that's weird. Should be complete. Oh, here we go. So yeah, OVA. We actually don't have a VirtualBox or anything like that we could use to open the OVA. Let's try to open it in the in WASL. So we got to do MNTC to go to my drive, or sorry, not my drive. My Windows files are there. So then we go to downloads. Oh, we don't have downloads. I think it's users. Yeah, and then public. Downloads. Is that it? No. I think it's gonna be maybe in Windows. Default. That's not it. I don't know where it is. Well, you know what? I can do the find. Just do find dash name, and then it's yeah, I don't know where this would be. So it's downloads here, earth.ova. Okay, permissions denied. I'll do it with sudo so I don't get all those annoying messages. Oh, and I still get permission denied. What if I do locate on it? Oh, I don't do find, I do where. Oh. Oh no, which. Or locate? No, that's not it. I'm pretty sure I know where it is. I think it's, well, I do know where it is because I have the path. So I just need to go to properties. Yeah, it's here. Oh, see, this is the Windows format. There, yeah, it's in here. So let's do kvm earth.ova. So kvm cannot be installed, but it can be installed with this. So let's see what the directions tell us to do. Okay, so if your processor supports virtualizations, which it does, we saw that my home, my gaming PC that I'm doing this on, of course, my home lab that I run GNS3 supports it, but also does my PC where this is up on, which is my gaming PC. It does support Intel virtualization, not AMD. I have Intel processors. In fact, I have a Intel Core i9 ninth generation processor. So we're going to install all the necessary packages to run a KVM hypervisor. This will vary depending on your distribution. My distribution is Ubuntu. So, how-to guide, maybe virtualization is on there. Oh, it's not. Tutorials. Do we have virtualization on there? We don't. Well, that's too bad. I mean, it's fine, right? It's fine. If you are using a graphical desktop environment, I am not using that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just so search tasks easily handled by the manager created from the command line. I'm pretty sure all I have to do is this. All right, we're installing a lot. This is to my home PC, which kind of doesn't have a lot of space on it. Well, let's see if this works now. It does not work. Sudo apt update. Okay. All right, so hopefully this works now. Yeah, it looks a lot better. A lot better. Oh, not fair. So the image format was not specified. So let me specify it. Specify raw. How do I specify? Let's see here. Oh, this is really annoying. It's a lot of help. Okay, so we can do dash dash machine Uh, type equals name. Okay, so option. So we can do disk image. How do we specify raw? Okay, I'll do a type grep raw. Oh, here we go. So disk image is a raw. So something that says disk image I'm looking for. Starts with a D. Probably dash dash disk image. Or dash disk image. Don't see anything. So let's search on disk. Disk image is a raw hard disk image. Oh, okay. I get it. Um, so I mean, I fed it the disk image like that. So I'm feeding it a raw one, right? What if I just do like that? No, okay. Unknown protocol. That's weird. Okay. Well, you know what we can do? We can always do this. It's so wonderful. Let's ask the AI. I love that. So the error you encountered suggests that there might be an issue with initializing the KVM kernel module. This module is necessary for running virtual machines on KVM. So yeah, we're missing some steps here. We need to check if it supports virtualization. We need to install KVM and related packages, which probably is a problem. And then we need to load the kernel module. So let's install these packages. Okay. Yep, and then we'll load the kernel module and we'll go through the rest of the steps. So we're gonna install this one. So we're gonna do apt apt-get install this one. I need to be root. There we go. So that one was already installed. That's what we got automatically with the KVM. All right, now we need to install this one. Nope, this one's not good. We need to install this one. There we go. That's one's probably a pretty big missing one. All right, now we need to load the kernel, the KVM kernel module, which is kind of like a driver in Windows. Okay. Oh, come on. It's taking too long. After that, we verify the module availability. Then we, oh shoot, have to restart the system. That's not going to be good. Then we use the appropriate image file format. Oh, you know what? I probably could have just done this right away and not had to do anything else. Oh, I can't do -F. Okay. All right. So the next step is this mod probe. That's a problem. Oh, gotta run it with root. Still nothing. Okay, that's not good. LS mod, KVM. Wait. Oh, here we go. That's not good. Yeah, maybe I have to restart. Maybe that's what the problem is. Um, KVM. Uh, yeah, GTK initialization failed. I think I need to restart. I think that's why GTK initialization has failed. And you know what? The BIOS might not be set correctly too, because GTK. This is that thing you have to the extension you have to set up in the BIOS. So that could be the issue. So unfortunately, it didn't work. I'll have to between videos uh, talk like mess around with that. It'd be nice to do network security videos on here where I do like capture the flag boxes. That would be freaking awesome. I'd probably get a lot of users, a lot of like new subscribers, and be able to build like a pretty big audience for that too. Um, but yeah, until then, I'm going to keep going on this cert. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.